Alright you guys, so I'm going to show you a way that I've been making coffee for the past few months, and I really like it, and I don't know why I didn't think about it sooner. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it, and it's pretty dang awesome. Alright you guys, so if you've been here for a long time, you know that I like coffee. I've had an on-again, off-again relationship with coffee, and I used to, at one point, make my living from making coffee for other people. And anybody who has done a job like that will tell you that one of the best ways to have coffee or make coffee is to do the pour-over method. And not only does it unlock a lot of flavors and aromas that coffee that's cooped up inside of a container won't do, but it is easier to clean up by far. I mean, all you do is grab the filter and take it out and throw it in the trash, or compost it or whatever. But as you will see in this video, composting has its limits and it's kind of complicated. And it's one of the reasons why I switched up my coffee game. I never thought that I could ever improve on the flavor of a pour-over brew, but I was wrong. I've even tried those little stainless steel reusable coffee filter dealies. Not only are they hard to clean, but they don't have a very good taste to them. I can almost taste the metal, and then after a while, you can't clean them out anymore. Like the little bits of coffee, like literally like stay inside of the little holes. So using one of those reusable stainless steel or copper or gold ones or whatever is just not for me. Even in the old days when they had them inside your Mr. Coffee, they made those reusable ones. You just, after a while, you just can't clean them, and they're gross, and it just tastes bad. The same thing holds true for a French press. I don't care how hard I try, I can still taste the old nasty coffee in there. I've even tried boiling them. I've tried washing them in dishwashers. I've done everything I could do, but those little screens that are in those French press coffee makers will never come clean. So you just have to throw them away and get a new one. And that's just a waste. That's, and I guess it's okay for people who don't have a sensitive taste to that or just don't care. So I've, for years and years, have been doing just pour over coffee. Because I don't want to drink out of a Mr. Coffee all the time. I'll do it when I'm at my mom's house because that's what she has. But I really don't feel safe about drinking what I call plastic tea because, she's using this plastic filter basket to brew her coffee in, and that's basically what you're doing. And the K-cups are bad too. And I heard Paul Saladino talking about the worst way to make coffee the other day, which kind of inspired me to make this video, because he was talking about how you need to use a reusable K-cup instead of one of those plastic ones that, the coffee comes in. And he's got a point there, because you really don't want to drink plastic with your coffee. But there again, those things aren't easily cleaned either, and he doesn't care because he doesn't like coffee. So I'm a person who likes coffee, and I want to drink coffee, and I want my friends and my family and you guys to be able to drink coffee happily and safely. And so I've been experimenting for years and years, I'm not kidding, different ways to brew coffee to where it doesn't taste like paper, it doesn't taste like plastic, it doesn't taste like garbage, and that that it's easy to clean up, after. And there's really no other solution better, in my opinion, than pour over coffee. That being said, though, I had no idea I could improve on that situation until quite recently. I was looking for a new type of filter because I don't like the filters that I have. They're okay, they're great for camping, they're da-da-da, and we'll be getting more into that in the video. But I just wanted something better because I could taste the paper. And also, like I said, I've tried to compost them, and there's problems with that. They don't really compost. They take forever to break down, and that's not something that you want in your garden or really like on your piece of property, because it looks really trashy. Because you guys will see later in the video where I tried to compost these things, It looks like somebody dumped a bunch of toilet paper is what it looks like, even though the filters are unbleached paper. Because they've been out in the sun for so long, they're sun bleached now, and it looks pretty bad. And I've buried a lot of them, but I just left them uncovered because I wanted to see what they would do. And they really take forever to break down. So that's a problem where we're at. So I was looking on Amazon for some different filters, and I ended up coming across a company or a person or whoever who makes fabric ones. And I thought, what a neat thing, you know, and it's just like the fabric tea bags, which I used to make all the time. And I thought, well, that's really cool, but the fabric tea bags are really hard to clean. And I'm thinking, well, this is probably going to be really hard to clean. But then I realized that they were just a flat piece of fabric with the edges hemmed. That's all they were. They were just like this, like they almost look like a washcloth, but they're not. They're like this different type of like muslin, organic cotton kind of stuff. And I thought, well, I have that stuff. I use it to make bandages, and I sew with it, and I do different things with it. I have some organic muslin. I'll just try it. So I cut it into 9-inch squares, and I washed it in, you know, tap water, and stuck it in my cone and brewed some coffee in it, and it was the greatest thing ever. Not only did it go through there faster, you know, because like anybody that's done pour over knows that like it just kind of backs up and just kind of sits there, and you have to like let it drain. And this does that, but it actually drains faster, and there's no nasty paper taste. And on top of that, it's reusable, so you're not throwing it away, and we're not throwing it out into the environment, and we're saving money. The only place I can see that this would be a problem is if you're in a van, if you're on the road like we often are. But we could always use the paper filters for when we're, you know, camping or doing van life or whatever. So I figured when I'm in a place where there's good running water and I have the chance to do it, why not try it? All right, so what I do when I make any pour over coffee, even if I use a paper filter, is the first thing I do is I spray it with a little bit of water, kind of around in the middle. You don't want to get the whole outside part wet. You just want to get the middle, because you want to be able to stuff it down in your cone a little bit better. And the reason for that is, especially if you're using paper, it doesn't want to shape to the cone. But it could get kind of stiff, and then it just doesn't conform to the cone very well. As you can see, it's down in there a lot better than it would have been. And so basically you're just trying to conform it to the shape that you want. And then what I like to do is I like to kind of flip up the corners here, if they'll stand up, kind of like this, because they need to be up off of this, so that when you pour the water in here, the water and the coffee don't wick up and then drip down. A lot of people make the mistake of when they make pour overs, they just let this stuff flop, and then they make a big mess all over the countertop. So what I like to do is make sure that it's up like this, so the stuff can't wick up into the thing and then drip down. I mean, it might drip a little bit, but not very much. And then I just kind of eyeball it. I just put, you know, however much I think I'm going to need in here. And I'm making a big pot so that I could have some for quite a few hours. And so I just dump whatever I'm going to do in there. You can measure it out or whatever. I'm not even using whole beans today. I'm just using some, you know, run-of-the-mill generic coffee that's already been ground up. So then you just put it in there, and then you get your water boiling, and you do the regular pour over, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is just a piece of regular run-of-the-mill organic cotton fabric. You want to use something that's kind of a thin, looser kind of weave, but you don't want it too loose, because you don't want your coffee grounds going into your cup. And I just cut them into like 9-inch squares, and that's what I use. You can buy paper filters that are shaped like this too, or cone shaped if you want. But this is just what I've been doing lately, and it seems to be working out really well. Okay, so now I'm going to add my hot water, and I like to Make sure that it's, just before it gets to a hard boil temperature, probably around 195 degrees. And you just kind of pour it over, get all your coffee grounds wet, and then I let it sit for like a little bit, like maybe 20 seconds or something like that, maybe less, because you want to get the air and the moisture on the coffee and let it do its thing. They call it letting it bloom. So it's kind of, I don't know, sort of brewing while it's sitting there, even with no water on it. I really don't know the scientific stuff behind it. There's other people that are more coffee nerdy than I am, that they could tell you. But yeah, you just want to let it kind of sit there and bloom for like a few seconds. And it's kind of worth it because it does make the flavor come out pretty strongly. I've tried it like both ways where I didn't stop. I just kept pouring over. And while you get a good cup that way, to me, you don't get all the flavor profile. I could really taste the difference. So I just kind of let it sit for a little bit, and sometimes longer than others. Sometimes I walk around and I'm doing other stuff and I forget. But yeah, usually not more than like, a half a minute or so. And then I just kind of do the normal, let me see if I can put this in the frame a little better for you guys. The normal pour over thing. And the trick is to just not pour too much in at a time. And they actually make tools now too, so that it's kind of like more like a sprinkle, almost like a shower head, so that they can get the perfect amount of water in there. I'm not that techie about it. I just kind of go around and around. And technically, you want to get your brew done in around 5 minutes. Some people say 4.5 minutes, because after that, the coffee starts to turn kind of sour. And I've experienced that, but I've also like had coffees where that didn't happen. Most of your South American coffees and stuff like that, they still taste pretty good, even if you brew them for too long, in my opinion. Also, sometimes the bitter part is a good part. Just depends on what mood I'm in. So sometimes I will overbrew it on purpose. And then there's a lot of times when I'm making breakfast or something like that at the same time while I'm brewing coffee, so I can't really like control what's going on because I'm doing too many things at once. But yeah, for the most part, you just want to make sure you get all your water through in around 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so now it's just like any other coffee filter, only except for this one you can keep, and you put this in the trash or your compost, and then you can wash this out with water, and every once in a while you can use a little bit of a unscented dish soap. I like to use the Free and Clear, and you just hang it to dry. It just dries like on your clothesline or someplace in your kitchen, and then you can use it again the next day, and they work really well. They will get coffee stained, and sometimes they smell a little bit, but then you just, like I said, you just have to use a little bit of dish soap and get them clean. But I don't recommend using any soap that has any scent in it, because you might not ever get that out, and then it might ruin the flavor of your coffee. Some people say to never use soap. Some people say to actually like clean them out with just vinegar and water, which works great too. Yeah, so that's basically how you take care of them. You just wash them and reuse them. And I just washed this one out, and it came out pretty clean. All right, you guys, you see all this paper looking weird stuff right here? Okay, this was my compost area. And yeah, look at that. All that stuff is old coffee filters trying to break down still, and they're years old. I've since moved my compost pile because I wanted to start planting things here. And look at this. It's just so weird. Those coffee filters are still there. Not going anywhere. Yeah, that's just not good, guys. Not good at all. Okay, so this is what I used to use. These paper kind. And they still work. They work really well. Sometimes I get the white ones. Sometimes I get these brown ones. The jury's still out on this, whether or not the brown is better than the white, because there's rumors going around that like they actually bleach these and then re-dye them. I don't think this company does, but even still, they treat it with something. It could be plastic. I don't know. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a whole bunch of little holes, like little perforations, and supposedly that's what makes these filters better, so the coffee can like flow through. I know from experience that it does help a little bit, but my fabric that I use actually flows a lot better, and it tastes better too. It doesn't have a papery taste to it, and sometimes I can taste the paper when I use these. But these are perfect for if you're in a hurry and you don't have time to wash out your filter, and they're perfect for camping. We really love these when we're camping, but we usually just throw them in the garbage, and they're way less messy. So like you just grab the whole thing when you're done with it and toss it in the trash. There's no muss, no fuss, no mess. That's one of the reasons why I started doing pour over, was not only because of the taste, but also because it's just easier to clean up after. When you use the fabric like we've been using, there's a few more steps, but for the most part, you know, it's basically the same process. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys these filters in case you've never seen them before, because not everybody is like as nerdy about coffee as I am. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, my bad. It says right here 100% chlorine and bleach free, but who knows? I mean, I've heard so many stories about coffee filters for over the years. And, you know, and then there's the whole thing where, you know, you have a coffee pot that's got a plastic basket on it, or you're using the plastic K-cups. Those are gross. So at least this is way better because, you know, I'm using a ceramic cone, and, you know, which I made myself, by the way. And then I'm also, you know, using something that's a little bit more natural when I use these. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying not to use these. I think that they're a wonderful thing, especially if, like I said, if you're camping or if you're in a hurry and you just don't want to clean things up. But don't expect them to compost in your compost pile. I don't care what that says. Those things that I just showed you guys were years old, and they're still out there. They're starting to break down, but not very easily. My suggestion, if you don't want to throw them in the garbage, because it's getting kind of illegal in some certain places, especially here in California, to throw away things that are supposed to be compostable, what you might want to do is compost the coffee grounds like you would if you're using a fabric one, and then, you know, dry it out a little bit and throw it in your fire if you have a fire, if you have a wood stove. Other than that, you know, you're just gonna have to throw it in the garbage. And like I say, when you're out on the road and camping, or if you're in a hurry, that's actually perfect. Okay, guys, so hopefully that helps you out. And that's that. And yeah, the cleanup is really simple on these things. You just kind of fling it out into your compost pile or in your compost bin, and then you just hose it off, and it's perfect. And like I said, you can use some unscented dish soap or homemade soap to wash it every once in a while to get it a little bit cleaner. Or, you know, use vinegar and water, or vinegar and baking soda and water, or just baking soda. Or just rinse it out. Who cares? And if it gets too grody and grungy and worn out, you just throw it away. And as you can see on my little, you know, filters that I made, I didn't even hem them up. I just left them raggedy like they were, because I figured, you know, it's a temporary thing and it's an experiment, and I don't need to worry about it. And if they last me a couple years, great. If they don't, that's fine too. They're just little pieces of cheap fabric, and they're better for me, better for the environment, and I really like them. And I hope you guys can get some inspiration from that, and maybe make some of your own. But just remember, always use organic, you know, cotton. And don't use stuff that's got too big of a mesh. You know, you don't want cheesecloth. You just want something that's like muslin or something like that, that has a loose kind of weave, but not too loose, because then, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose. The coffee will fall right through, obviously, and then you won't be happy with it. So there you go, guys. Hopefully this helps you out. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.